Hey guys, it's Xenofang here, back with another Division video. Today we're going to be talking about Division 2 once again, and this is going to be one of my just pure speculation videos, and it's just based off of what we have got informational-wise, and just, like I said, come up with speculation, and that is to do with PvP in Division, and how all the stuff that we've known so far might tie into my theory on what Division 2's Dark Zone PvP, and possibly more PvP, that we could see within the Division. Now, what am I expressing? What am I talking about? Well, they talk about how at the end of Endgame, they want to have such a twist that they'll just drag you in by the neck, or grab you by the scruff of the neck and pull you into Endgame. Now, for me, there's one thing that really makes me think, man, what could be a crazy twist at the end of the game that drags you into Endgame? And also allows you to go into the Dark Zone, because they haven't really shown anything on the Dark Zone right now, which might tie into what I'm going to express here. As addition to that, it seems like we have to get to level 30 before entering the Dark Zone, or being able to go into the Dark Zone. So if that is the case, if that is what's going to end up happening, maybe the end of the Division 2, the end of the game, the thing that twists and pulls you right by the scruff of the neck, and pulls you right into endgame, the thing that they keep on mentioning, could be the thing that leads into the Dark Zone PvP. And what do I believe that could be? I believe that is going to be a faction system within the Division 2. Between the rogues and the non-rogues, between Kaner and Faye. That is what I believe is going to happen. I believe that when it comes down to it, at the end of the game, you're going to have to choose a side between either Faye, our boss currently right now, the one that has a leg that doesn't even have flesh on it anymore, that plane crash and just ripped off her pieces of chunks of her leg and it's just broken and she's got a cast on it. Honestly, I'm surprised that it hasn't healed up, because I don't know if anybody's seen that shit, but she legitimately had no muscles, no flesh, no there was no leg. It was just a bone just laying there while she's dragging you away. So, I mean, unless they can modifiably regenerate, full ligaments and muscle and all that stuff like that, I don't really see her coming back from that hobble state anytime soon. Even with, who knows, maybe there's nanobot technology or something that could freaking, heal her leg or whatever, something crazy. I mean, I don't know. But it seems like, when it comes down to it, once we've got all the way to the end, everything leading up to that point and stuff, maybe we have to choose between the two. I feel like nobody's expressed anything on Kaner at all. The Division 2 is flat out, we're there to save the president. That's pretty much the main storyline right now. And we have to deal with the True Sons, which is a new faction within the thing. We haven't heard anything about the other factions, which is supposed to be, more. We haven't heard anything about the president. We haven't heard anything about Kaner. Haven't heard about the hunters. These are all things that were tied into the first game that really determines if the first game ties into the second game. So I'm just sitting here where's all this information? Or are we even going to get this stuff? So with them keeping this hush-hush, it kind of makes sense that at the end, a twist like this, where you have to choose between Faye or Kaner, that's a pretty hefty twist. And of course, leading into the Dark Zone PvP, where if you're Kaner on Kaner's side, then you go in there and you're fighting people that are on Faye side. It just comes down to it. You're non-rogue rogue. There is no toggle to become rogue. Once you've entered the DZ, you're your own faction. You are your specific portion. If people are going to know that you're rogue because you're part of your Kaner squad, or you're part of his group, or part of his faction, or you're still part of the non-rogue agents, such as Faye, it just sounds so cool. And I mean, there's more things that they can do with it. I feel like there's a lot more they can do, especially since it's going to tie into Endgame. If that stuff tied into Endgame, a whole faction system could be crazy for Endgame. That would provide a lot of content. And again, even though I'm saying this, for instance, stuff like the light zone type things and the non-PvP based things, how would this all play together? How would players that are not how would players that are supposed to be working with Kaner supposed to also play with the what is called Faye? How are these people going to be able to work together? I don't know. Like, there could be something there. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, there is supposed to be 8 players raids, and I don't really see, like, for instance, if there was 2 factions, for instance, you have to choose between Faye or Aaron Keener, how somebody that's part of, like, Keener's squad can end up joining up with Faye squad. They might do something like that. They might just say, oh, no, we're just not going to really worry about that. That's a faction system for PvP. We're not going to really worry about that. That's the raid stuff is tied to the PvE type of stuff. That would be cool. And especially because, like I said, it just comes down to it. They're not showing anything on the DZ. The DZ is supposed to be completely different than Division 1, and there's supposed to be like an endgame system that drags you in by the scruff of the neck. It's just in that, you know, the Division's main base operations, the actual Division's headquarters is in DC. That's where our main base is, you know, for the Division. And the thing is, like, for instance, something like Keener, if Keener came back to there first, I know Faye has definitely probably sent information to the guys saying, oh, Keener's betrayed us or whatever and stuff. But it's just like, what if he gets there first? And he ends up talking to the like heads of the division or whatever. Or maybe he takes them out and then he ends up becoming the leader of the division, the actual like full-fledged leader of the branch of division that's in DC. You know, that would be cool. As addition to that, you know, I still think, like, for instance, this isn't more speculation or theory crafting. I believe that the Hunters are the third wave of the division. I think that they're the third wave. Because the first wave, they screwed up. The second wave came in and they were fixing things up, but it wasn't fast enough, you know. People still are having issues. Or they're getting things cleaned up, but, for instance, the division or the President of the United States, whoever's leading the division, thought, oh man, we don't really want these guys to be known. We don't want Ernst Keener's past or anything like that. Any of the first wave or the second wave, we don't want them to be known about. We want to get rid of these guys. We need to clean them up. And how do you do that? You put in a cleaning unit. A unit that's supposed to clean it all up, get rid of the evidence. And what are they? The Hunters. I mean, think about it. The Hunters aren't after any other faction. They're not after the LMB, they're not after the Cleaners, they're not after the Rikers, they're not even after the Riders. They're only after Division agents and Aaron Keener. That is all they're after. You see all the watches on them. You know, even for instance in when you go to Westside Pier, you hear evidence and stuff like you know for a fact that Keener is not working with the Hunters. It's the opposite. The Hunters are after Aaron Keeners. The Hunters created the rebellion and grabbed all the groups together and made them work together to fight Aaron Keener at Westside Pier, but he got away. Same with, for instance, the resistant mode. You know, the Hunters are working with the other factions. It just comes down to it. It just seems like they are the cleanup unit. So who knows? Maybe in Division 2, they're still tracking Keener down, and the Hunters could be an additional faction on its own or whatever. I believe that we're going to see the Hunters in Division 2 for sure. I mean, it could tie into, for instance, Division headquarters and the fact that maybe the Hunters are the ones that are running over the Division headquarters, and that's probably why that's probably why the Division's main base or operation or whatever isn't really doing much in DZ, is because they're getting controlled by the main, like the third branch or the third unit or third wave of the Division agents, which would be the Hunters, like I expressed. I mean, like I said, there's just a lot of speculation, just speculating, of course. That's all this is. It's no hardcore evidence. The only evidence I can express is like the rumors and the evidence that isn't there. For instance, we don't have any information on PvP in the DZ. We don't have any information about the end game. We don't know how the raids work. We don't know about any other additional game modes they are planning to put into the Division 2. There's we more so know that there's going to be like survival, like, you know, Yannick said it on the stream at E3, and then of course with whatever his name is talking to the director of the game, he said that they might add it in, or they want to have it in, but they don't want to confirm it. But I mean, it seems like that's going to be added in there, and something like that could be tied to that end game system with the factions or whatever as well. But I just think it would be cool, you know. At the end, for instance, like at the end, we're coming into the White House or whatever, and we're just walking up the stairs, and we're going for the door, and right there is Aaron Keener standing next to the President of the United States, having a little chatty conversation, and we're walking in with Faye and stuff, and Faye Lau's like, what's going on here? What's going on here? And then the President of the United States, like, this young man or whatever, saved me. and he's now like the director of whatever, and you have to like choose between Faye Lau and Aaron Keener. I mean, that would be really freaking cool. Or maybe there's an option like you can either choose to kill Keener or choose to kill Faye Lau. I mean, tell me not. Wouldn't that not be like one of the craziest twists for the end of the Division 2? Like, that would be insane. And it would lead into so many end game mechanics and stuff, like I said, the PvP. They haven't shown anything about the DZ. They're keeping it hush-hush. And it's all, like I said, it's just hasn't been shown anything. And there's a lot of evidence to support that the Division 2's PvP or the DZ, you're only going to be able to go in there when you get to level 30. It just makes sense. So this is my speculation. This is what I believe might happen. Again, not confirmed. I just felt like putting it out there, seeing what you guys think. Maybe you guys like this idea of us, like, at the end of the division, we choose between Faye Lau or Aaron Keener, and then we get to go in the DZ as one of the two factions, either rogue or non-rogue. That'd be awesome. And who knows, maybe they end up having a third system where we could choose be hunters, so we're either rogues, non-rogues, or hunters. Oh man, that'd be so cool. But like I said, purely speculation. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.